Hey guys, what's going on? It's your big dreamer and doer, G Dinero, coming to you live for a TA Tuesday. Let's take a look at the charts and see what they have to say today. First, remember, none of this is financial, tax, legal advice, and should not be construed as such. This is me teaching you how to read the charts today, so let's dig in. So we'll start here with the Bitcoin chart. As you can see, I have it set to a 4-hour time frame, taking a look at Bitcoin on Coinbase. For those of you familiar with the IA indicators, I have Confluence turned on twice, both on bullish and on bearish. I have the trend, and the trend is set to tight, and the mean reversion model is set to aggressive with a noise suppression of 30. I have custom bands in there looking at what is more than 1 to 2 standard deviations either way to the upside or the downside on the mean reversion tool. And the last thing you see down here at the bottom on my chart is M2 global liquidity, which we note ticked up in the last 24 hours. A little tick up in global liquidity here in the last 24 hours, aka a little bit of money printing going on already, or some quantitative easing. So what do we see here on the charts? Well, yesterday was an exciting one. We had a giant drop on Sunday. A big drop all the way down to the $100,000 level. Then we had a spike all the way up to the $109,000 level in preparation for Inauguration Day, which was yesterday. Inauguration Day happened and we dropped again. And today we have now leveled off right here, right around 105.5 as we speak. So what is that telling us? Well, it's telling us there was a lot of uncertainty going into the event. There were a lot of people thinking that President Trump would announce a strategic Bitcoin reserve immediately. But the charts were telling us it was already starting to look a bit oversold here. We had sell signals. We had the price action up here in the upper 1/3 of all the Confluence indicators. We were well above the 50-day moving average, which now is hovering down here at around $98,000. And I have a $91,500 level here on the charts. It's the level that we have skidded along and bounced along multiple times. That I see as our immediate, deepest support level, I would say, right now with Bitcoin. It seems to be that Bitcoin is really supporting well on this $100,000 range and should bounce from here and slowly grind up. Again, coming off of these significant oversold levels, we're almost back down to the mean again right now. So right now, holding pattern for Bitcoin, not necessarily any significant buying signals on the chart, but on the 4-hour chart, definitely some selling signals over the last couple of days. However, seems to be responding, and you have to take into account the bigger macro picture that the supply is tightening, meaning there's less supply available. The ETFs are buying it up. Nation states are beginning to buy it up. You also have many of these Bitcoin companies putting it on their balance sheet, buying. MicroStrategy announced an 11,000 Bitcoin buy today. Last week, it was a $2,500 Bitcoin buy. The week before that, I think it was somewhere in the 5,000 range. Don't quote me. I'd have to look back at my notes. I do know 2,500 last week, 11,000 this week. That's almost 14,000 Bitcoin purchased by one company, one treasury. Remember, only 450 Bitcoin a day are issued. So that's what the chart's telling us right here on Bitcoin. Solana had that incredible spike yesterday. The incredible spike yesterday was likely due to the launch of the Trump coin over the weekend on the chain. There was a ton of meme coin action, but look, the tools worked perfectly. We had a perfect buy signal down here. That was on, the signal came out on January the 13th. We had the mean reversion down here in that -1 to -2 range. That is a significant mean reversion to the downside. You'd have to go all the way back to here, back into December the 20th, almost a month prior to see that kind of deviation to the downside on the mean reversion tool. We were also bouncing perfectly on the 200-day moving average, which on my chart is yellow. It's yellow. So whether we're looking at RSI, which the RSI value was below 30, we're looking at MACD, which we went from being heavily oversold to starting to change that direction on MACD back up to the upside, the histogram going positive. No matter what you look at, everything was signaling right here that if you didn't have any Solana or you felt like you were light on Solana, that's the time to buy. The buy would have been right there at 180. Now what do we have? We had some selling signals up here. We were well out of the top of the confluence cloud with all of this price action here. Not only that, we had a red sell flag. It's hard to see in there. It's kind of buried under everything else, but there is a red sell flag. You can see it right here. The trend did flip down for a brief moment. So hopefully some of you saw that. And I do need to move this all-time high up. Let me drag. Oop, it's locked. Let me drag that guy up because we did set a new all-time high right there. So now I have my all-time high set up here. Hopefully you took some profits off the table. Many of you have been holding Solana since the 10s or 20s or 30s or $40 range. When it goes to 290, it's a good idea to go ahead and take some profits off the table. Not financial advice, friendly advice from your friend G Dinero here. So take a look at this. Make sure that you are following along on the charts. Where are we right now? Again, kind of in a holding pattern. Solana sold off. We've reverted almost back to the mean on the mean reversion tool. Our RSI is back down to a neutral level. We're the trend looks like it's starting to flip from orange back up to blue here. So we're in a pattern now. We also bounced perfectly, as you can see right here, off the 78.6 Fibonacci level, like we've done on numerous occasions. We have set a new all-time high, so I could move this 100% range up to here, and that's what I'll likely do in a future episode. Also with these two guys, we have Solana BTC. Solana BTC, I highlighted the trade. Notice there's still the yellow marks that I had put on here the other day when I was talking about you could have bought Solana down here and sold it here on the spike when it went up to 0.0026. And I was saying it could have been bought at 0.0019. That's the ratio. How much Bitcoin per one Solana? So buying Solana when there were buying signals on the chart and then selling the Solana for Bitcoin when there wasn't necessarily a sell signal per se on the chart. It's just that the ratio went up dramatically from the center of this circle here to the center of this circle here. That's a 31% increase in a matter of 26 days. So in a month, Solana outperformed Bitcoin by 31%. That's if we're just going from the center of the circle to the center of the circle. Because why I don't cherry code it. If I wanted to, I could say from this low on December the 21st to this spike right here on Sunday, just this past Sunday, over the course of 30 days, it was over a 50% move. Solana moved up 50% more than Bitcoin did in that same time frame. Thus, if you bought Solana and then flipped it for Bitcoin on the tail end here, you would have 50% more Bitcoin than having bought Bitcoin alone back here at the beginning of that trade. Last two we'll talk about. We'll talk about MicroStrategy really quick here. MicroStrategy did sell off a little bit this morning. There was a dip. You'll note all the way down right here to, what did it go down to? 367.67, which effectively filled the gap. Where's my drawing tool? It effectively filled this gap right here. Notice on Thursday, we closed down here in this 370 range and gapped up on Friday, up just a few dollars, about $5, but that was enough to create what's called a gap up when the trading closes and gaps up the next day. See the distance in between these two pink lines? That was filled right here inside this yellow circle today. So that gap just filled, shares traded there. We went back and supported again up here on this 61.8 Fibonacci level, the golden ratio. Short term, you'll notice there's two linear regression channels that are crisscrossing here. Short term, or in the long term, we're still in this uptrend up and to the right that's been going on for months, all the way since back in August, September timeframe. In the short term, though, we are still in a little bit of a downtrend since the all-time high back here on November 21st when MicroStrategy hit almost 550. We are significantly oversold on the mean reversion tool. So today's sell-off is a bit natural. It also is respecting the channel. We went up to the midpoint of the longer-term up channel. We went up to the upper edge of the downwards channel right here. Okay, so that's what I see there. What does all that tell you? We may pull back again a little bit. We might revisit the bottom of the channel. We may revisit this 50% fib level again, especially because one other thing I track on a regular basis is how much selling is being done at the money with this whole at the money share issuance that MicroStrategy does, where they sell shares at the money, use the money to immediately go buy Bitcoin. That's why there was an $11,000 buy today. Guaranteed there's going to be another buy announced 1 week from yesterday. 1 week from yesterday. So that'll be announced on Monday of next week. Pretty much guaranteed, guys, because there was some selling action right at the gun. It tends to be right at the open every single day is when those shares hit the market. How can you trade that? Well, if it hits the market right away at the open, perhaps selling at the same time that MicroStrategy is selling additional shares. Then once it bottoms out, as you see happened here, and the selling starts to subside, meaning the net volume starts to go back to neutral and starts to go into a positive, then you can buy back into those shares. Is that considered day trading? Yes. Do you need to make sure that you don't get labeled as a pattern day trader? Yes. Also, if you're selling and immediately buying back, there is a wash rule in effect. All of those are rules that are outside of what I'm going to talk about in today's scope, just showing you what could be done perhaps in a tax-free account where you could sell the open and buy back an hour later and save yourself about $20 a share in doing so. Last but not least, we have Tesla. Tesla is been a crazy beast now over these last few months. Ever since the presidential election, which was back right here, it's just been generally up and to the right, hitting a peak of $488.50 back here on December 18th. So the long term, again, you'll see the crisscross of the linear regression channels. Long term, we're in an uptrend right now with Tesla going up and to the right. We did hit an all-time high. We pulled back to where the 78.6% level and almost back to this 68% level. That is a strong level of support and resistance. It was a strong level of resistance. Back here, you notice we tapped it 1, 2, 3 times before finally breaking out to the upside. That would be the kind of floor right now, or the resistance, the support level of the floor, somewhere around that 350 to 355 range. Again, I don't fret whether it's at 354.91 or it's at 350 or it's at 360. It's in that zone that we're looking at where there's a strong level of support for Tesla if it were to pull back. Right now, you'll see, though, it is supporting right here on the 78.6% Fibonacci level. We are respecting this up channel still almost perfectly, where we're bouncing basically on the bottom edge of that channel. And 50-day moving average would be a level of support. That's at about 380 currently. Again, the next level down that I would see would be the 61.8. We are heading into earnings coming up. If the EV tax credits are repealed here in the United States, that could create a drop in price. Where would I look for that to drop to? In this exact range that we've been talking about, somewhere between here and here, somewhere in that box. Why? Because we have the 50-day to help support us here. We have the 61.8% Fibonacci level down there at the 350 level. I drew a brain fart, sorry, at the 350 level. I hope that helped. I tried to make it super fast, super short and sweet with the top 4 assets that I'm currently invested in trading. How about you? Drop a comment down in the comment section. Let me know, what are you trading on a regular basis? I'd love to hear what you liked about this video, what you found useful about this video. Also, be sure to check out my website and book a class with me at gdinerocoaching.com. Those classes, we're getting ready to launch a whole new series of courses over the next few days here where I'll go over technical analysis and TradingView and all the things you saw me just doing. I cover those in a course. It's going to be at your own pace. It's a series of recorded videos that are at your own pace. It's over 5 hours, almost 6 hours of content. It's a lot of content with frequently asked questions, both in a written form that you can search for the answer you're looking for, or in a video recorded form where I'll do those on a weekly basis to answer some of the top questions of the week. And if that's not enough, once a month, I'll be giving you an opportunity to jump on a live training session where we'll go on a live session that's purely questions and answers to go over everything you learned along the way in the course. Also, there's quizzes along the way. So you're back in school again where you're going through and doing quizzes along the way to ensure your mastery of this information. If you like this video, give it a like if you would. Be sure you subscribe to my channel. Turn the notifications on so you get to see more of this content in the future. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Here's to you increasing your financial literacy. This is G Dinero, over and out.